is we are holding on the bottom of the page 25, and we were speaking about the Eila Toildois Yitzchak ben Avram, that it says Ve'eila Toildois with a Vav HaMoisif. Why does it say with a Vav HaMoisif? What is it adding? And we explained that Ve'ela Toildois means that Yaakov Avinu, through his avodah, through the Birer HaNitzotzes, similar to the idea of the Nekuda that's under the two dots, the point that's under the two dots, the bittel that's under the two dots that are symbolic of the nations of Esav and Yishmael, which symbolize all the 70 nations. Through his bittel, he transforms and elevates them, until it becomes transformed into Segolta. So that's why it's Ve'ela Moisef al Rishonim. That Ve'ela, that Reb Nachum Chernobyler said, is an addition, an increase on what it was in the Parsha talking about the Bnei Yishmael, because what Yaakov Avinu does through his berudim, he's moisif and marchiv the gvul kedusha. He adds to the place and the location of kedusha more so than it had initially. Now, based on this, the Rebbe is going to connect it to the Machar Chodesh, which we began at the beginning of the Maimer. What is it? I'm sorry. Not Machar Chodesh, not over here. Here we're going to talk about still the idea of Ve'ela, the Vav HaMoisif. So again, page Yud Beis, 6th page of the Maimer, line 25. V'zel Ve'ela Toilus Goymer. That's why it says Ve'ela Toilus. And these. So he says Ve'ela Dafke, the Vav HaMoisif with the additional letter Vav, Shahavav Soid Hadas. Vav also is considered the inner and the hint for the level of Sfiras Hadas is brought down in Kabbalah, because it's in the center line. There is, as we know in Tikkun, there's 3 lines: the right line, which includes Chochma, Chesed, Netzach; the left line, which is Bina, Gevura, and Haid. The center line in Kedusha begins with the level of Das, then it goes on to Feres, Yisoid, and Malchus. So it begins with the level of Das, which is also, by the way, if you talk about a Segel, Chochma, Bina, and Das would be like a Segel, because Chochma is on the right, Bina is on the left, and Das is in the center beneath them. So the level of Das, which is unique to Kedusha. In Klippah, there's no true level of Das. It's brought down in Chassidus and Kabbalah, that it adds. And it broadens the boundary and what is included in Kedusha. How is that done? Like we said before, through the refining and the elevation of the emotions and attributes of Chesed Gvura. Das is the joining, as we know. It brings over from the intellect, so that the Izbonnus and the Moichir should be able to direct the Midas, and to be able to tell the Midas of Chesed Gvura what and whom they should love, what and whom they should be fearful of, etc. So when you have Das, without Das, we know that right away in the beginning of Tanya and Perek Gimel, so then the Chachma Bina will not create true love and awe of Hashem. So if you need to be mevarer, the Chesed and Gvura of Klippah, to transform it to have love and awe of Hashem, how is that done? That's done through the level of Sfiras Hadas. Das carries over and is mevarer and elevates Chesed and Gvura. Shezeu masha kosu via daita hayoim b'shavois elovecha ki avayu lekim b'shemayim emal v'alo arts metochas. What does this mean? Hainu shaydei bechinas hadas, through the level of das specifically. That's what brings about v'shavois elovecha. That's how you come to turning over your heart the midas of chesed gvura. And das means, like the Alter Rebbe says in the beginning of Tanya, sheyiskam machshavti b'choizik. A person needs to really embed his mind strongly in concentration and contemplation, that he has the awareness of Hashem, and then he reaches a level of Vashivois Alavecha. And what's the effect of it? So the simple meaning is Vashamayim Mal Vashvars Mitochas is only what he has to know and be Meishiv El Levavoi. The Rebbe over here is going to teach and explain what is the das about. The das, once a person has das and transforms his chesed and gvura, so the result of that is, what comes out from that is, that he affects and creates that there should be shamayim imal valors metochas. Let's see the last line on this page. Hareu poil b'shamayim imal. So through das, and which is the yiska daite machshavte b'choizik, through that level he affects and influences in the heavens above. What is the idea that he influences in the heavens above? Hamoirem al ribui haispashtus, top of the next page, Yud Gimel, the 7th page of the Maimer. Shuhu bechinas Yishmol. We said before that chesed of Klippa, that's the level of Yishmol. So Shamayim is expansive. It's way beyond the earth. It's higher than the earth. That shows on chesed. So he affects. You bring godliness into the heavens above, meaning into the level of chesed of Klippa, meaning to transform them to become chesed of Kedusha. And you also transform and influence the earth down below. Shuhu bechinas Esav, that's the level of Esav, the level of Charba. What we said before, Esav is the level of the sword, Val Charba Chatichya, like Yitzchak told Esav, which is also the level of Gvura. Gvura is Tzimtzum. The earth, in comparison to the heavens, is just the opposite. The heavens is Chesed, we said, Ispashtus, expansiveness, that's Yishmol. The level of the earth, that's the level of Tzimtzum, that's the level of Esav. So that's what it means, if you will, a novel explanation, that what results from that is the B'shamayim Malvalars Mitochas, that Hashem Walakim manifests itself even in that which is expansive as the heavens, Yishmal, and even that which is constrictive as the earth, as the Esav, that they should become this bar as well, and them should be felt the Ein Oid. And that is, I believe, there's also brought down that this why Viyadaita begins also with a Vav. Viyadaita Yom V'Shavai Salavecha. I think so, because of Viyadaita means this level of Vav is the secret of Das. So it goes on the second line on page Yud Gimel, V'zeu Gam Inyan Shel Yaakov. This idea of the Vav that causes the Ve'elam Oisval Rashonim, that brings about the level of the Birur Viyadaita Hayoim, the letter Vav is also associated with Yaakov. Shari Midas Shal Yaakov Midas Emes. We know it says Titein Emes LeYaakov. You will give truth to Yaakov. Yaakov's avoida is Midas HaEmes. Like Avram was Chesed, Yitzchak was Gvura. Yaakov was known for Emes. And Kabbalah is brought down that Emes is Ois Vav. What's the significance of the letter Vav and its connection with truth? Shetzuras Havav Moira Al Inyan Hamshacham Al Mayl Lamata. The form that the Vav is shows on drawing down from above to below. And when you write, when a Sefer writes a letter Vav, either in a Sefer Torah or Tefillin, Mezuzahs, he needs to write it specifically that way. He's not supposed to write it from bottom up. He's supposed to start from the top and write downwards. And that has to do with Emes, why? V'inin kava imtsoim shemavriach min hakotzer lakotzer. The level of Emes, the level of Yaakov is part of that center line. The center line is something that comes through from one end to another end, from one extreme to another extreme. That is the maila of the level of the center line. In the Beis HaMikdash, it says literally that the center line, the Beis HaMikdash, miraculously circled all three walls, whereas the top pole and the bottom pole did not do so. And in Al Pi Kabbalah, the center line, not the right of Chachma, which begins with Chachma, not the left that begins with Bina. Only the center line goes all the way up to Keser, it says, Teferes Oilad Keser, and it goes all the way down to Malchus. Because of this power, that it goes up to the highest and goes down to the lowest, he could join the two opposites of Chesed Gvura, and he could elevate the Chesed Gvura of Yishmael and Esav. This is also has to do with the idea of emes. Emes, Chassidus always brings down, the Rebbe emphasizes this a lot. Emes is true all over. If it changes, if it's only true in one place, not in another place, it's not emes. That concept is to be found more so in the center line, which is Das, and which is the Feres, which is the Kavem Tzoy in general, because it is there even higher than Chachma Bina, goes down even lower than the Midas, all the way down into Malchus. So that shows on the emes. In addition to this, not only does he join Chesed Gvura the way they are in Kedusha, because he's Kavem Tzoy, and Kavem Tzoy joins Chesed Gvura in Kedusha, but he goes even further and he's able to deal with Esav and Yishmael, and especially Esav, which is the opposite of truth. Nasa habirur, the Esav shu heipach emes. Esav is the opposite of truth. Chazal say she'esav hu al shem ha-shav shebarasi ba'olami. There's a Maimer Chazal, a Medrash, that says that the word Esav is here, behold, is falseness that I created in my world. What's the idea of the word shav? There's in halacha, there is a specific term that's used for certain types of oaths. There is shav, there's sheker, there's different concepts. The use of shav specifically means if someone says that a stone pillar is a golden pillar, if he takes an oath saying that, that is a shvuah that's called shav. It's false. In a similar vein, what is the shav that Esav stands for? Klippe, and what Esav in general stands for is about the falsehood of Esav is that he considers the world as something separate, something completely separated from Hashem. It's an independent existence, when in truth it's only Hashem. Einoid Movade. But Yasser says even more so. Sharei ha'even imazov yesh lahem eze shayches al kolponim. Stone with gold does have some type of association. They're not that far apart. True, it's still a shvuah shav. If a person calls stone, he calls it gold. Yes, it's a shvuah shav, and he's liable for it, and so on. But at least there's something that's in common between them. Shari shnei mugdarim b'makim gashmi. Both stone and gold are limited and defined by physical place. Oidach v'roichav v'mishkol. They all have the definitions of length and width and weight. As opposed to the world, it really has no existence whatsoever. And this clip is saying, no, it exists. So it's two extremes. Between gold and stone, there's a closer relationship between the existence of the world and truly the world being non-existent. Therefore, it's important to draw down truth into the world, and that's Yaakov's job. What does it mean when the pasuk says ve'emes havaya la'olam? It comes to tell you that our mission and purpose is that the truth of havaya has to be manifest and brought down into the world. The truth is that the world does not exist, that only Hashem is the true existence. That is the job of Yaakov and us. This is all the idea of our avodah throughout the time of Golas. To refine the animal soul and the body and the allotted portion that we are supposed to refine of this world. The Rebbe says we do not need a great work and effort and toil for this. It's sufficient only a small finger. There was on the side he brings the whole story in the Gemara of there was a very poor person who wanted to bring a gift to Yerushalayim, had nothing what to bring, went to the forest, found a large stone, didn't know how he would transport it, he didn't have any money to pay for wagons or porters, and the Hashem sent him miraculously malachim disguised as porters that would be willing to transport it for him. But they just said, you should also just put your small finger, some participation. It shouldn't be completely perhaps miraculous or without human intervention. The Malachim wanted just one finger to put to it. And the Rebbe says the same thing by us now. We don't need to turn over mountains. We just need a small finger. By days of Machrias Atzmi was Kola, goes through this. He tilts the scale of himself and the entire world to the side of merit. Until we affect the state and situation of the future time. Top of the last page. Then I will transform to the nations, that they will all call out in a clear language, to serve Hashem all as one. And their kings will be your pedagogues, and their ministers will be the ones that will be your nursemaids. Like we actually saw that this was such a situation. There was a certain a murder that was told by a king, and not only he was told, but he was actually fixed. His garment, his gartel was not in the right position, and he came over to him and he fixed his garment for him. So we actually see how a king who rules over a nation fixed a yid's garment. That the kings will actually feel fortunate. They have the capability, the possibility to serve the Jewish people. Again, this was something